switch up today.
I heard you canceled your meetings for us. I'm honored.
Yeah, we had thought there was going to be an additional 10-minute delay.
No, it's because people are adjusting to. We had the team meeting just concluded, but people always underestimate me. My entire life, so they thought apparently that I was a short stepper, and I couldn't get here this fast.
So, do you expect everyone on the 53 to be available Sunday?
I think Elijah Campbell will be the only guy off the top of my head that won't be practicing today. It looks promising, but we'll see to have all 53. But we'll work through this practice and the medical advice tomorrow.
Terrific. And the play of Cole Strange, it's been clearly impressive, at least the last couple of weeks. You would assess this season how?
I think it's been phenomenal for him because he entered the situation in a very challenging circumstance, and he's progressed to the point that he makes plays for us and is got a nice relationship within the O-line room. But he's a part of the team that, like, you always know, dynamic players and realistically, you just kind of assess how they bond with their teammates. A lot of times for skill positions, 2 linemen, you have a new lineman, you don't know much about him. I've learned the most about him by his rapport with the skill. Him and Kendall Lamb are a real type, but he's always hanging out with Devon Achane, and he's doing a great job getting better every game. So he came in the clutch for us, and expecting some more good play here this Sunday.
I know how you feel about the narrative surrounding the Cold and how it exists until you defeat it, right? But what I want to know, however, is whether you think the influx of new guys as well as the team's run-first identity makes you better suited for those games.
I think each team's unique to itself. I think the not disregarding it, but you have to make sure that the opponent is the Jets and not the weather. And to me, I think we have a lot of reasons to not have any concern for elements of temperature and not moisture. Realistically, these guys have all played football in those elements, and it'll be about playing the Jets, and it won't be about playing the Cold.
Avery Brewer had a new knee injury surface, but he's okay from
No, it's a product of going after it in practice. A bump and bruise type situation, not something that we're concerned about or anything serious in that.
Along those same lines, I know Benito, I believe, missed practice yesterday for ankle/personal. Is he good for?
Yeah, Benito's been playing through. He always plays through any nick. He's improving. Excited to be a little bit healthier each time he gets back on the field.
The Jets began the year 0-7, but much like y'all have kind of found their footing in recent weeks, 3-2 in the last 5 games. What have you seen from them in terms of them kind of turning things around with the winning?
The irony of the National Football League is no one wants to start behind the 8 ball, and particularly we can relate. But on the other side of that is it's almost a platform to see what people are made of, and you really don't hide in those situations. And generally, if you can come together and find solutions as a team, stay focused and keep pushing through, you become a very dangerous team, through those adverse situations. So, I think one thing that is that AG is going to have his dudes ready to roll, and they're not going to blink at any sort of adversity. They have a play style that they put on tape week in, week out, and in the month of December, if you don't prepare for the team that's coming to the stadium and try to prepare for a arbitrary record, you're going to have a rude awakening. They will win games, and if they lose, they're going to make you earn it.
Mike, you touched on it a little bit on Wednesday, but I was hoping you could kind of expand on how you recruited Devon Achane, or not recruited, how you scouted Devon Achane. Like, when do you remember this tape really standing out to you, and do you remember the moment when you knew, like, yeah, this guy's got to be a Dolphin?
There's a couple of factors. I knew his tape was exceptional enough that I don't think I've tried to catch a visitor off guard more than when he took a visit with us. And I really went above and beyond to try to figure out who he was, because his tape was so good. I was like, is there something missing? And on top of it, he had played an LSU game that most people would have sat out, and I know there wasn't anything but the love of the game and his team to play for, and he had one of his best games, so he was interested in that regard. But once he came here and sat down and watched a couple plays, it was probably like the third or fourth one, had a tape, and he was talking about everything he saw on a play, and it was like, there's no way you saw all that, dude. You just said 15 sentences. But then we watched another play, and I could see that the game was slow to him, and that kind of pieced together why he potentially was at the point of attack, not taking on direct hits all the time. And I just recognized something that wasn't otherwise available. You like to do player comps, and he was a blend of several things. Figured he had the ability to be unique in this league, and a high yards per carry guy that you can get the ball to a ton. But the key was meeting him, seeing this quiet kid that wants to be great. And it's been cool because everyone I think he feels like his teammates are a part of his journey and his development. He's never considered really not being. He's never considered not having his game to at least this point. I think he has higher expectations than this moving forward. But his teammates feel part of his journey, and he knows they are. So it's cool to watch guys grow into something that they're capable of. But bottom line is, people have to do it themselves. So he's a big part of our program, and we're very happy that he's seized the opportunity and been the leader and consistent playmaker for us that he has been.
If I can follow up real quick on that, a player like Devon, I'm sure you know is a special talent, like a guy that wow, this guy's going to be something. What is that wait like for you? You guys only had 2 picks in the first 3 rounds that year. What is that wait like in between the 2nd round pick and the 3rd round pick, knowing like, oh my God, this guy can go at any second?
Well, it's I knew I was on camera, and I still fist pumped. That's what it was. Highly stressful, not cool. It was not fun. I was happier after it was announced, but I think that's why you do what you do. There's a ton of stories on different scales. I think Devon is just an example of someone that is maybe a little overlooked unnecessarily, and then when given the opportunity, he can define who he is by his play, and he continues to do so.
Mike, in the case of Jason Sanders and James Daniels, have their injuries just not healed as quickly as doctors thought originally? Did they have setbacks by doing physical things off the field?
I would think it would be, you know, the, Jason's not really surprising me in that he hasn't had setbacks. We knew we were going to have to be patient, and it's not the idea of is his body not responding. He's capable of kicking footballs through the uprights. It's where it's at to risk further injury with the exertion that you don't want to do that too soon. So we kind of knew it was going to be a case by case basis with him. I guess I would say depending on what month you asked me, I probably would have been surprised to know James isn't ready at one point, and then at some point I could kind of see the timeline in terms of it might be a lot longer than we thought. I don't think it's a re-injury as much as a slowly developing, slowly getting back to the way he needs to be. So I don't really know what that looks like. That's kind of in his body and his hands. So we'll play whatever hands dealt.
Zach Wilson will always be one play away from playing against his former team in the Jets in this trip to MetLife. I know, God forbid, but how have you seen him grow behind the scenes here from that player that you saw struggle in his early years in New York?
Well, I think I think that's a big portion of it. He was a young player that was playing before a lot of guys. Not every guy, but a lot of guys get afforded the opportunity of you not seeing and judging how he's playing in New York City. We all saw, and that's a very adverse situation. So I've seen a guy that has been through stuff that doesn't allow his confidence to be dictated by one or two throws, and because of that, he's able to use his skill set and be convicted on throws more often and sooner. And I think he's the main thing is I've watched him immerse himself. His teammates have belief in him, and he really challenges each and every week. He really challenges the defense on things that we need to see in areas of the field that need to be covered. So I've seen a guy that has come out the other side of a tough situation, and in those situations, or in situations like that in life, if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. So I see a stronger Zach than even when he got here, and he does a good job each week preparing for your potential one play away.
Cedric Wilson, we've seen a little bit more of him. What's led to your comfort level with giving him more snaps and targets?
My eyes. I'm very good reactor to, and not in a sarcastic way. It's more like he executes on critical things off the ball and on the ball, and delivers. I think he's he's taken a step, a level up in his game since we really last had him, in his ability to impact it, particularly without the ball. I think he started last game blocking Cam Jordan. That's not the easiest thing, and he executed it. So, I think a lot of times it's as easy as giving guys little slivers of opportunity and seeing what they do with them, and then responding by giving them more when they have earned it. So he's been phenomenal. Phenomenal. The second time around, he even though he's not that much wiser, he appears wiser through his journey back and forth, and is able to help in a multitude of ways and help us have efficient offense and execute 11 people as one.
A couple of newcomers for the Jets were their top snap takers at receiver last week in A.D. Mitchell and John Mechie. How have you seen those guys since their arrival change the way the Jets' passing offense works?
Well, I think what I've seen is guys take advantage of the opportunity. So they in their team situation they were afforded some ops, and I can see an uptick in usage and target ratio based upon what those two have shown. You know, both tough football players that I'm well versed in. You know, and AD in particular, his ball skills make him a yak threat at every on every pass, really, and he's a big guy that you have to run your legs through when you bring down to tackle. And Metch is doing a great job inside and outside. Always been a tough player, but a super competitive, strong one at that will challenge your nickel or alley player. And so it doesn't surprise me they're doing well, and I wouldn't be surprised if they have an uptick in usage.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
All right.